Yeah, I got cancer. So I've got cancer, found out about it 3 weeks.
Michael Douglas, the 80-year-old Hollywood legend we all know and love, is facing a heartbreaking battle. His 26-year love story with wife Catherine Zeta-Jones might just be over after these latest revelations about his extremely devastating diagnosis. Stay tuned as we uncover the shocking truth about Michael's health that he tried so hard to hide from the media. What did his wife just discover, and why has she decided to leave? Get ready to find out. Michael Douglas, the renowned Hollywood actor and producer with a career spanning multiple decades and numerous awards, is in the news today for the most heartbreaking reason ever. His marriage, known as one of the most enduring in Hollywood history, is at stake as Catherine announced a temporary split from him following revelations of the awful details of his health diagnosis. But what are these details? Well, it will definitely leave you completely devastated. Before we delve into the tragic details of his health and why his wife is saying goodbye, let's take a trip down memory lane. Who is Michael Douglas, and how did he grow to become the Hollywood legend we all know and love? Early life. Born on September 25, 1944 in New Brunswick, New Jersey, to legendary actor of the golden age of Hollywood Kirk Douglas and Bermudian actress Diana Dill. Michael Kirk Douglas was raised in a culturally diverse family with West, Jewish, and Bermudian influences. He was also raised in an entertainment-inclined household, as around the time he was born, his father, Kirk, was a working actor and had just begun to establish himself as one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men. His parents had met at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and were both invested in building their careers as actors. And that's how Michael was introduced to the world of entertainment from a young age. Growing up, Michael shared a very complex relationship with his father. Kirk Douglas, known for his memorable roles in films like Spartacus and Paths of Glory, as well as his larger-than-life personality, was frequently absent due to his demanding career. And this contributed to a strained relationship between the both of them, which sometimes left Michael feeling very disconnected from his father. Unfortunately, at the age of 7, Michael's parents ended their marriage, and this resulted in him being raised primarily by his mother alongside his younger brother Joel, who was 4 at the time. His mother eventually remarried Bill Darrett, who stepped up to be a father to them. Although the boys lived with Bill and Diane, they still made sure to visit Kirk during the holidays. In an interview with The Guardian in 2016, the actor said, "We would visit him on set. I had my 16th birthday in Los Angeles. Haley Mills was my date. Or we would go to Kirk's house in Palm Springs, where Joel and I became the desert rats, riding horses out into the countryside. People such as Burt Lancaster, Frank Sinatra, and Tony Curtis would drop by. All of that left a lasting impression. Although looking back, I can see that Dad was a film star first and a father second. We were much more emotionally attached to our stepfather." Michael would eventually come to understand his father, because although he would eventually attain success in Hollywood like his father, it would come at the expense of other important things in his life. The question is, what are these things, and why is his wife suddenly saying goodbye? Keep watching to find out. Kirk was also having a hard time, being so far away from his children, and he was always appreciative of Bill stepping in to fill his shoes. In a 2021 interview, Michael said, "I know he loved me, but he felt guilty because his father had abandoned his family, and the one thing Kirk never wanted to do was abandon his children, and he felt like he was doing that, so it was sort of awkward and tense." This rocky relationship with his father would eventually be rekindled after Michael got into the film industry himself and began to understand the pressures of Hollywood celebrity life. For primary and high school, Michael attended the Allen Stevenson School in New York City, the Eaglebrook School in Deerfield, Massachusetts, and the prestigious Choate Preparatory Boarding School in Wallingford, Connecticut. It was during these years that Michael began seriously considering pursuing a career in acting. He was inspired by watching his father on sets alongside other prominent actors, and he became intrigued with the film industry. Michael eventually decided to enroll at the University of California, where he received his Bachelor of Arts degree in Dramatic Art in 1968. During his time at the university, he immersed himself in acting and film studies by taking acting classes, participating in local theater productions, and even directing plays. But his journey to developing his skills was far from smooth. Despite being born into a performance-inclined family, Michael struggled with insecurities and stage fright. He revealed that Kirk, despite being a very busy man, made it a point of duty to attend almost every show he did to rate his performance. He fondly remembers that initially, after the shows, Kirk would tell him how awful his performance was, mostly due to the stage fright. But Michael was not discouraged. He decided to work even harder. And after a year, he started to get better. After graduating in 1968, he decided to try out his luck in Hollywood. And that was the beginning of his long and successful career as an actor and film producer. But how did it all happen? Career? Michael started off his career in television by taking on minor roles. He made his debut in 1969 when he starred in the Columbia Broadcasting System Playhouse series, The Experiment. But it was his role in the television series, The Streets of San Francisco, from 1972 to 1976, in which he starred alongside Carl Malden, that truly brought him to the limelight. Although the show was a hit, and it earned him 3 consecutive Emmy Award nominations for his role as Steve Keller, a young and ambitious police officer, Michael had already decided that he wanted to transition and pursue a career in film instead. Thankfully, due to his father's influence in the industry, he was able to land minor roles in films such as Summertree and Hail Hero, which earned him a nomination for the Golden Globe Award for Most Promising Male Newcomer. But Michael wanted more. You see, he had been working as an assistant director on several of his father's projects, and he was very intrigued by the film production process, even more than being in front of cameras. So he founded his very own independent film production company and called it Big Stick Productions Limited. His first major success as a producer came when he received the rights to the novel One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which had been purchased by Bryna Productions, his father's company. Kirk had initially planned to produce and star in the movie himself, but he released it to Michael. It was then adapted into a film in 1975. The film was a critical and commercial success, grossing over $163 million worldwide. In fact, it was the second highest grossing film released in 1975 in the United States and Canada, and one of the 7th highest grossing films of all time at the time. This film swept the major categories at the Academy Awards that year, winning 5 Oscars, including an Academy Award for Best Picture for Michael. This was the game changer in his career. Everyone could see that he was not just an actor, but indeed a skilled producer, and this opened many doors for him in Hollywood. Michael continued to build his career in the film industry through acting and production. In 1978, he starred in Coma, a thriller directed by Michael Crichton. He took on another production role the following year with the hit film The China Syndrome, and also starred in the film alongside popular talents Jane Fonda and Jack Lemmon. The film was about a nuclear power plant accident, and coincidentally, the 3 Mile Island nuclear accident took place just 12 days after the film's release, making it one of the most intelligent Hollywood films of the 1970s. Although Michael had established him as a giant in the film production world, his on-screen career had yet to take off. Well, this eventually happened when he produced and starred in the 1984 romantic adventure comedy Romancing the Stone, alongside Kathleen Turner and Danny DeVito. The film was a huge success, and it showcased that indeed, Michael could be the Hollywood leading man his father was. The following year, the film's sequel, The Jewel of the Nile, was released, and as expected, it also did very well, further showcasing Michael's acting and production skills. He continued to expand his range with roles in films like A Chorus Line in 1985, and Fatal Attraction in 1987, which became one of the highest-grossing films of the year, and earned him widespread praise for his portrayal of the character, Dan Gallagher. In 1987, Michael took on the role that would define his career, business tycoon Gordon Gekko in Oliver Stone's Wall Street. This performance earned Michael an Academy Award for Best Actor. And in 2003, the American Film Institute named Gordon Gekko number 24 on its top 50 movie villains of all time. His delivery of the line, "Greed, for lack of a better word, is good," became very popular. And at this point, Michael had solidified his reputation as one of Hollywood's leading men, who can tackle diverse, complex, and morally ambiguous characters. This was the beginning of decades of exceptional service to the entertainment industry as an actor and producer. When asked which of the two paths he prefers, Michael described himself as an actor first and a producer second, revealing that he genuinely enjoys both functions. He said, "I love the fact that on one side with acting you can be a child. Acting is wonderful for its innocence and fun. On the other side, producing is fun for all the adult kinds of things you do. You deal in business, you deal with the creative forces. As an adult who continues to get older, you like the adult risks. It's flying without a net, taking chances and learning." But acting and production are not the only paths Michael has chosen. He is also known for his deep passion for philanthropy. Throughout his life, he has been involved in philanthropic activities, dedicating both his time and resources to various causes such as disarmament, which involves the reduction and limitation of weapons, human rights violations, education, healthcare, and environmental conservation. At the peak of his career, he was appointed a United Nations Messenger of Peace by the then Secretary General Kofi Annan, and he began focusing on various human rights issues. In 1999, he funded the establishment of the University of California, San Francisco's Michael Douglas Pediatric Brain Tumor Research Center. He has given to over 70 organizations, and for 12 years, he hosted the Michael Douglas and Friends Celebrity Golf Tournament, raising over $10 million for the Motion Picture and Television Fund, a charitable organization that offers assistance and care to those in the motion picture and television industries and their families. He currently serves on the Board of Trustees of the Douglas Foundation, established in 1964 by his father and stepmother. The foundation has granted more than $118 million to organizations committed to providing more equitable access to education, healthcare, and the arts. As the son of Kirk Douglas, who was Jewish and an outspoken advocate for justice, he has always been passionate about standing up for marginalized communities. He has also supported numerous healthcare initiatives, especially those focused on cancer research and treatment. Although Michael's career and philanthropic works are very admirable, the details of his personal life, especially his relationship with high-profile actress Brenda Vaccaro and his messy divorce and marriage, are much more juicy. You won't want to miss this. Personal life, relationships. Michael's personal life has not been as glamorous as his on-screen life, especially with his high-profile relationships and marriages constantly being in the public eye. It all began with his earliest relationship with talented actress Brenda Vaccaro. Michael and Brenda began dating in 1972, shortly after the filming of Summer Tree. Michael, whose career had just begun, was still a rising sensation. However, Brenda, who was 10 years older than him, was already an established star who had earned recognition for her performances in the film industry, television, and on the stage. Michael had seen her in Midnight Cowboy and was immediately captivated by her beauty. He even asked his father, Kirk, to offer her a role in Summer Tree. They eventually met, and despite the age difference, they fell in love and began dating. Although their relationship initially looked like the perfect love story to the media, by 1973, they were already living together in Beverly Hills and attending star-studded events together. Unfortunately, it would last for only 6 years, even though Michael really wanted them to get married. His heart was shattered when Brenda turned him down. Speaking to Closer Weekly, she said, "This was the 1970s. No one got married. He was a great guy and I loved him, but I did not want to marry him." But things were not that simple between the couple because Brenda was very indecisive about the idea of marriage and eventually changed her mind twice. According to the actress, "When it came time to say that we were doing it for real, I said yes, then wound up backing out of it. I really messed that one up." Brenda later expressed her regrets and agreed that she really messed up the relationship with Michael due to her uncertainty and cold feet. But that was not the major reason she kept saying no. Apparently, she had fallen in love with another actor named Don Stroud. She said, "There was this really strong connection with Don, spiritually, intimately, and so overpowering I could not handle it. My dear friend Robert Shaw, who was making Jaws, told me what I was doing was rash, and I was making a mistake. He said that momentary pleasures like the one with Don would lead to lasting regrets if I broke up with Michael, and he was right. I regret all of it. Everything was different back then. There was a lot of substance use, and it was a crazy time." Shortly after they split, Michael met Diana Luker, a film producer and the daughter of an Australian diplomat. At the time, Michael was 32 years old, while Luker was just 19. In March 1977, they tied the knot and welcomed their first son, Cameron, the following year. Although things were going smoothly for a while and it looked like Michael had finally gotten the happily ever after he always wanted in a shocking turn of events, the couple announced their divorce in 1995 after 18 years of marriage. Their divorce threw the media into a frenzy, especially because it was one of the most expensive Hollywood divorces in history at the time, with Michael reportedly paying her over $45 million in settlement. In a later interview with the New York Daily News, Michael expressed regrets for staying in the marriage with Luker for that long. He said, "I have nothing against her, and in fact I'm very fond of my first wife, but we should have ended that marriage 8 or 10 years earlier. It took me too long to realize that if you go to a marriage counselor to resolve problems, it's in his interest to keep the marriage going." Although the marriage ended in a very costly divorce, they both decided to focus on co-parenting their son, Cameron, and maintaining a cordial relationship. Speaking about Michael in a 2011 interview with Harper's Bazaar, Luker said, "I loved Michael very much when I married him, and I don't think love ever really disappears. It might metamorphose, but I certainly don't think that hate is the right recipe." After this marriage, Michael had a few brief romances, but he eventually took some time out for self-reflection and to reassess his life and focus on his health. And by 1998, he met the love of his life and present wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones. But where did it all go wrong? And why is she leaving him after this shocking and tragic diagnosis? You're about to find out. Michael met Welsh actress Catherine Zeta-Jones for the first time at the Deauville Film Festival in France in 1998, where they were introduced by actor Danny DeVito. Michael was instantly captivated by Catherine's beauty and personality, and after this meeting, he asked his assistant to reach out to her for a date. Speaking on how they met, Michael said, "I had just seen 3 weeks before I came to the festival this movie, Zorro, which she starred in. When I arrived, I looked at the catalog and I saw that Zorro was coming the next night. So I asked my assistant, 'Can you find out if Catherine Zeta-Jones is coming, and if she is coming alone, and if I could have a drink with her?' The couple had their first date, and it went pretty well. Then shortly after, Catherine invited him for dinner with her company. And during the night, Michael, feeling a little too confident, said, 'I'm going to be the father of your children.' Well, Catherine didn't find the statement funny, and she responded with, 'I've heard a lot about you, and I guess it's all true. Good night.' After she walked out, Michael thought he had fumbled the opportunity with the actress, but he decided to give it one more shot. He knew she was off to a small island in Scotland to shoot a new film, so he arranged to have roses waiting for her the moment she arrived. Thankfully, this romantic gesture impressed Catherine, and shortly after they hit things off and began dating. They got engaged by December 1999, and in early 2000, they shocked the world when they revealed that they were expecting their first child together. After welcoming their son Dylan in August, the couple tied the knot 3 months later in a lavish ceremony at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. Their wedding was one of the most high-profile events of the year, and the couple sold exclusive rights to the ceremony to OK Magazine for a reported $1.4 million. Looking back at their meeting, Michael told The Guardian that Catherine was a tremendous surprise in his life. He said, "After my divorce from Luker, I was puttering along quite well as a single guy and couldn't believe how honest you could be with ladies as long as you didn't date 2 of them in the same town at the same time." But Catherine coming into his life made him want to sit up, do better, and settle down. In 2003, the couple welcomed their second child, daughter Karis, making their family more complete. The couple has always been in the public's eye due to their successful individual careers, and they've never failed to profess how much they are in love with each other, giving the impression of the perfect marriage to the media and general public. But one aspect of their marriage that never fails to amaze everyone is the fact that they share a 25-year age difference. And this always leaves everyone wondering how they've managed to stay in love all these years. In an interview with The Telegraph, Catherine said, "We're just very good with one another. We respect each other, and I never really feel that he's 25 years older than me. I remember people saying, when you're 50, he's going to be 75. Well, that's just math." Unfortunately, things haven't been all rosy for the couple because years later, they received tragic and devastating news about Michael's health that put a very big strain on their marriage. Health issues. Michael Douglas has faced several heartbreaking challenges tied to his health and well-being, and like many actors in Hollywood, he has had to maintain his physical health in order to meet the demands of his profession. At the beginning of his career, Michael was known for taking on physically challenging roles in films like Romancing the Stone in 1984 and Fatal Attraction in 1987, both of which required significant stunts, action sequences, and physical exertion. These roles eventually took a toll on his health. He even got involved in a serious skiing accident in 1980 that negatively affected his career for 3 years. But that's not all. During his early career days, Michael was notorious for extremely heavy drinking and substance use. In September 1992, the actor decided to seek help, and he began a 30-day treatment for alcoholism and substance addiction at the Sierra Tucson Center. Thankfully, he eventually got sober after his time in rehab. However, the actor has revealed that total sobriety is not his thing, and he rather opts for balance. In an interview with podcaster Mark Macron, he said, "Everything is a question of moderation and all of that, but just not the way you wake up in the morning anymore wanting more. You have to be careful." Unfortunately, it seemed like the years and years of stress, excessive alcohol use, and substance abuse eventually took their toll on his body, because on August 16, 2010, it was announced that Michael was suffering from throat cancer. The cancer was diagnosed at advanced stage 4. Therefore, he needed to undergo chemotherapy and radiation treatment immediately. Michael revealed that it was quite hard to diagnose this cancer. His symptoms began as persistent throat pain and discomfort, which he originally dismissed as a sore throat. However, as the symptoms worsened and he experienced difficulty swallowing, he decided to seek medical attention. At first, numerous specialists failed to detect what the problem was, with most of them dismissing it as a minor issue. Eventually, it was a doctor in Montreal, Quebec, from the public Canadian health system that was able to catch it when he looked into Michael's mouth with a tongue depressor and found a walnut-sized tumor at the base of his tongue. The doctor ordered a biopsy done, and the diagnosis was made. It was later clarified that he was suffering from tongue cancer and not throat cancer. Shortly after the diagnosis, he began a rigorous 8-week course of treatment that included chemotherapy and radiation. This process was a very difficult one for him, and he admitted to being knocked out most of the time. His physical appearance and voice were significantly impacted, and he even lost over 45 pounds, which made him look weak and tired. This was due to the fact that, despite his tongue being burned due to the radiation, Michael had refused to use a feeding tube and had to rely on a liquid-only diet. It got so bad that in November 2010, his doctors had to put him on a weight gain diet so he could regain some of his strength. During this period, fans and the general public were deeply concerned about the star's health, filling the media with an outpouring of sympathy and support. His wife, Catherine, was super supportive and made sure to be by his side throughout the treatment process. She said, "The hardest part is seeing his fatigue because Michael is never tired. If there's anything he has, it's strength." Thankfully, in 2011, after months of grueling treatment, he announced that his tumor was gone and that he was finally in remission. He credited his survival to his family's support, especially his wife, Catherine, who stood by him throughout his treatment. Now, here's the part that would leave you shocked, and this is the very reason why his wife is saying goodbye. You see, Michael initially came forward to reveal that the cancer had been caused by years of stress, alcohol abuse, and substance abuse. But that was all a lie because, in a surprisingly honest interview with The Guardian 2 years later, Michael revealed the true cause of the cancer, which he had desperately tried to hide from the world. When asked whether he now regretted his years of smoking and drinking, Michael broke the news by saying, "No, because without wanting to get too specific, this particular cancer is caused by the human papillomavirus, which actually comes about from cunnilingus, not drinking. I did worry if the stress caused by my son's incarceration helped trigger it, but yeah, it's a transmitted disease that causes cancer." Immediately after the news broke, it was the talk of the media around the world. It left fans wondering where the actor had picked up the disease from. Had he cheated? Or did he get it from his wife? As you can imagine, Catherine did not find any of this funny. She was completely embarrassed and devastated. The comments in the media were so brutal that she made the heartbreaking decision to separate from Michael. Michael instantly regretted his actions and immediately issued a statement to address the controversy. According to him, he didn't mean it the way the media interpreted it. He said he made the statement bluntly without thinking of the repercussions. He told The Guardian, "I was just happy to be alive. I was ecstatic. It feels like a rebirth after you go through cancer and you come out of it. You feel like a child. You see priorities differently." He added, "It was one of those things, and I so regretted any embarrassment that it caused Catherine and her family." Although his comments helped to raise awareness about the risks of the human papillomavirus, especially as it relates to head and neck cancers, it triggered a temporary separation between the couple, which left Michael with deep sadness and regrets. Fans were relieved when shortly after the actress forgave him and they were reunited. But that's not the only health challenge the couple has had to navigate. It was later revealed that during the time when Michael was undergoing treatment for cancer, Catherine was also diagnosed with bipolar disorder, a condition that involves periods of depression and hypomania. She came out openly to address the diagnosis as well as seek treatment options. She also decided to check herself into a mental health facility for a brief stay for treatment. This mental health struggle added another layer of complexity to their family life, as both of them were recovering from their respective health battles. On the bright side, these challenges brought them closer together, and their reunion showcased how much they truly love one another and are determined to make their marriage work. As of 2024, Michael remains active in Hollywood, though he has scaled back his workload. Now in his late 70s, he has embraced aging and has acknowledged that his health is not what it used to be, but he continues to focus on maintaining his physical and mental well-being. He also mentioned that he stays active through regular exercise and a healthy diet, which he credits with helping him recover from cancer and stay healthy. He also makes sure to regularly undergo checkups to monitor his health as a cancer survivor. What do you think about Michael's diagnosis? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more juicy stories about your favorite celebrities. If you enjoyed this video, click on the next video on your screen.